Our motion to detain was granted without prejudice. The case has been continued to this Friday, November 4th, to set his preliminary hearing. At that time, the judge will also hear, meaning at the time of the preliminary hearing, the motion to detain so that they can rule with prejudice as to whether or not he stays in custody without bail. The motion to detain. Yes, so we did seek a criminal protective order requiring him to stay away from both Speaker Pelosi as well as Mr. Pelosi, as well as the 2600 block of the street that they live on, in order to facilitate their protection should for some reason at any point in this case he be released. I think I've been very clear that this is somebody who planned this, who sought to come and harm the Speaker of the House of the United States, that when he got to her home, which he found on his own, that he could not locate her and therefore then targeted her husband. This was not a random act of violence. This was not a random residential burglary. This is something that was specifically targeted. Law enforcement cannot prevent all crime. I don't think anybody has an expectation of that. And so I don't believe it's at all representative of the state of safety and public safety in San Francisco. I think it's more so representative of the state of politics in the United States, that people believe that enacting violence against members of our political government is okay. At this point, the only people that were targeted specifically. So we want to make sure that whoever is accused of a crime gets a fair trial. That's the way this process should work. What's not helpful is when people spread information to the public that is untrue, regardless of which way people believe that it slants. And so I think for the interest of both sides of this prosecution, we want to make sure that what is floating around in the public is accurate.
Or prior history of mental issues. And
what we want to make sure is that our jury pool isn't tainted. And so we want to make sure that anything that's floating around is not misinformation, so that both sides of this case get a fair trial. At this time, I don't have any information. The best that I can do as the District Attorney of San Francisco is to hold this man accountable for the crime that he committed, but also make sure that I express my views on the issue, which is that I think we are at a point in the United States where political rhetoric has become too inflammatory. We have become a society that thinks it's acceptable to incite violent acts against our political leaders, and we can't be that type of America. We have seen too many tragic ends to violence against presidents, mayors, you name it, and we need to pull it back.